This is Curious Brain Thoughts.
Hello, Paul. Good day.
Hello, Louise. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. How are you?
Absolutely bloody marvellous.
Oh,
Marvellous.
good. Why? Tell me why.
Not if you sing.
Oh,
So why am I marvellous? Well, the sun has been shining and therefore the weather is sweet, yeah.
did
And
it make you want to move your dancing feet?
Well, I have actually. To the rescue. Here I am.
Here I am.
So, yes, I've been doing a bit of standing working out in the garden, which was nice. I did that for a while
Lovely.
until the computer got too hot. And then I relocated indoors for a little bit and then went back outdoors again. So it's been nice, thanks. Yeah, nice. How are you doing?
Very well. I had a coaching session face-to-face that was done outside.
Very
Today,
nice.
which was I did feel a bit like an overcooked sausage at the end of it, though. I'm not going to lie to you.
Lovely.
I didn't have any sun cream on, so
Louise.
I sunburnt my nose.
That is bad. Bad, Louise. I hope you feel told off.
Not really.
Well, you should do.
Excuse me. Well, do you know what, Paul? It'll be brown tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow's Friday. Why not? Brown Friday.
Is it?
Let's go.
I'm like, what day is it? Ah, help. So, vegetable news. Ready?
Right, okay. Love a bit of vegetable news.
Yeah. I had some seeds of unknown age. Seeds don't last forever. I planted them to see wagwan.
Yeah.
Some of them germinated, some of them didn't. So I planted some more seeds of indeterminate age. and some of those...
Do you know what any of them were, or are they just random seeds?
Well, some were varied tomatoes. So I've got tomatoes, we don't know what kind.
Because they're varied.
And then there's squash, summer squash and courgettes. They germinated. So I planted them out at the weekend.
Very
Not
nice.
all, but some. And they're not dead. So we love to see it.
Well, that's a win right there. Because we are right old green-figured horticulturalists.
Oh, my days. Oh, my Christ. So, yeah,
I think
we're
even
going to endeavour.
unkillable plants have died in my house.
Well, we're going to endeavour, Paul, to get a harvest at some stage.
Love that. Maybe they could
Right.
be miniature courgettes.
So my barrier in previous years
Yes.
has been Nigel
Right.
digging.
Yeah. Now they're in what they're called? Trugs.
It's in a thing called a veg trug, which is at waist height on me. So Nigel would be hard pushed to jump in there and have a dig.
Well, you're not 7 foot tall. Because he can jump, he just won't necessarily immediately think to go in there.
No, indeed.
Out of sight,
So-
out of mind.
I'm hoping that that's the answer. It might not be. What can you do?
Very good. What can you do? Do you know what? I made a really nice leftovers dinner yesterday. We had some gammon, which I haven't had gammon for a while. It was rather lovely for one day. And then yesterday, I used the leftover gammon and I made a nice little pasta arrangement avec some peppers and some courgettes and what else was there? Something else. Oh, peas.
Come on,
With a nice white sauce.
let's get the peas in.
I love peas. Oh, my days.
Do you know what? I've got Ellie coming over, our niece Ellie, for supper this evening. And I'm just thinking, what shall I make?
Yeah.
And so come up with a meal, Paul, from the following ingredients,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Red onion,
Yes.
carrots,
Yeah.
red peppers, 2 of, broccoli, wild garlic pesto.
Oh, roasted veg and pasta.
Roasted carrots. Yeah, okay, that could work.
And roasted broccoli.
So I roast the vegetables.
Yeah, chop them up, drizzle some oil on, salt, pepper, boom, in you go. Get in there, have that.
Where's our protein?
What's in your pesto? Pine nuts. You're welcome.
Walnuts, actually.
Okay, walnuts. And then just sprinkle quite a lot of cheese. Love cheese.
Cheese. Okay, great. Thank you. That has literally solved my problem. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very much.
You're welcome. I'm now really starving. Because it sounds Gert Lash.
Gert McLashingtons.
Oh, yeah. Because I'm also thinking about some of the like balsamic dressing that you can get, that's slightly thicker. And I'm wondering if you drizzled that on there, would that caramelise, like the bunions, for example, and the carrots? Maybe if you've got a bit of honey, drizzle a little bit of honey on there.
Yeah, I'll put them in the air fryer, look.
Oh, there we go. Hello,
I'll
Ginger.
do that, look. Yeah,
gorgeous.
That's beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. I've got a block of feta as well. I could introduce that.
Boom. I was going to suggest some Greek-style cheese, and you've got it, so...
I'll just check the date. I'll just check the date. I'm sure it'll be fine.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
I've got some puff pastry ready rolled. Rhubarb pie for pudding.
Oh my gosh, that is so rude.
And all of that we've magicked up out of thin air. I was thinking, do I need to go to the shops? The short answer is, I really don't.
No, you got
Use
everything
the food you've
you need.
ruddy well got, love.
Yeah, amazing. Sounds delish. I look forward to seeing some photos later.
Okay.
Good. Love that. Well, we've been trugging on for a while. Maybe we ought to see what the RTG's got to spit out.
Yeah, do it.
All right, fine.
Random theme generator. Random theme generator.
Well.
Well.
It's kind of fitting, actually, for the conversation we've just been having.
It's funny that.
Because the worm that has been spat out is alignment. And I was thinking that, isn't that interesting? Maybe lots of other words would align with what we've just been talking about. And I just thought that was interesting, aligning the ingredients that you've got with the requirement, which was to have some food.
When you said alignment, I instantly thought car, tyres.
Interesting.
Because if you don't have your tyres in alignment, that's bad news. They'll wear out real fast, won't they?
Well, bad.
And your car will drive all wonky donkey.
So, it's a noun.
Is it?
Arrangement in a straight line or in correct relative positions. The tiles had slipped out of alignment.
The tiles?
Yeah, I don't know why. The the route or course of a railway or road. 4 railways, all on different alignments. Okay, great. Good, I understand that as well. A linear arrangement of stones. Okay. Position of agreement or alliance. The uncertain nature of political alignments. It's very interesting. Very, very interesting. It's not really where I was going.
No. Where were you going then?
Well, so that was Google. Sorry, I've just gone to Cambridge. An arrangement in which 2 or more things are positioned in a straight line or parallel to each other. That's also quite interesting. In alignment, the mattress supports the body in a way that keeps the neck and spine in alignment. In alignment with. Try to keep your head in alignment with your spine. Out of alignment. The problem is happening because the wheels, hello Louise, are out of alignment.
So it's linear.
Mm.
The stars, Paul, have aligned,
Yes.
haven't they?
Yeah. I was thinking about, because aligned, I suppose, on the same page. Are we on the same page? Yeah. A lack of alignment can cause significant challenges. So your priorities being out of alignment. The feedback was in alignment with my own expectations.
Yeah, interesting. So when it's an object, it's a linear thing.
Yeah.
The wheels, the train tracks. But when it's thoughts or feelings or expectations, it's a mental straight line rather than a physical one.
Yeah. So if two things or people are in alignment, they are the same as or similar to each other or agree with each other. If they are out of alignment, they are different or disagree. There's something here as well about AI, the process or policy making of AI systems that produce results that fit well with human moral principles and intentions. So in AI, alignment is the process of encoding human values and goals into large language models to make them as helpful, safe and reliable as possible.
Oh, right.
AI alignment is a subfield of AI safety, the study of how to build safe AI systems. It's interesting. Nigel's got something to say about it as well.
Yeah, he's barking in garden. Sorry about it.
Yes, closer alignment.
So there's the implication that being out of alignment or agreement with is less preferable to being in alignment. That's kind of baked into how the words are used. But then what I was thinking was, where's our diversity of perspective, our diversity of thought, if we're only ever in alignment with our peers, our family, our friends? Do you know what I mean? Like, then aren't we just, if everything's aligned, aren't we just... Oh, Roscoe's having a little barky bark there. But if everything's in alignment, aren't we just living then in an echo chamber of our own perspective? Is that what we're saying?
Well, how about our goals being aligned? Not how we're going to meet them. You know, for example, want to have something for dinner today, and I suggested some pastry kind of thing. So we're aligned on the fact we want to have some dinner. Amazing. I suggested a pastry thing. You might have said, actually, I'd rather a salad thing. We're still we are aligned on having some food. How we're going about it is we can think about it differently. So to what degree then, when does alignment become misalignment?
I guess then it's layered, isn't it? So we're aligned, Paul, that we want to have an evening meal.
Yes.
We're not aligned on what that meal should be or how we should go about preparing it. Does that matter if we still get food?
Exactly.
So it depends, I guess, to which layer, because you could argue then, so we're aligned up to a point and then we diverge because you want to make a pastry thing and I want to make risotto or whatever.
Yes.
Then, okay. Is that a problem? Don't know.
So the divergence, I guess, is selected to our choices.
I tell you when it would be a problem, keeping with the food, if you said, I'm going to make a meaty and or fishy. Why would you put meat and fish in the same dish? But if you said, I'm going to do a meaty fishy thing, that a lack of alignment would then be problematic for me because I'm a vegetarian. Do you know what I mean? So,
So the misinterpretation of we will have an evening meal would be, well, I can eat that.
yes.
So then that works for me, not the original goal. Yeah, alignment. So aligning, another thing I was just thinking about, aligning our actions with our intentions, which is like a continuation of what we're talking about. You know, when my actions are misaligned with my intentions, depending on what they are, can create quite a lot of like emotional heartburn.
Yeah, friction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. And we see that all the time, don't we? When in ourselves and others, when we state an intention and then don't follow through, as 'twere. Or we do follow through, but we don't do the thing we said we were going to do. We do something else.
Yes.
And as you say, that creates then that lack of alignment then creates friction and wear and tear, if you will, that wouldn't have been there.
Yeah. So particularly when you think about, you know, one of the episodes we did a while ago was on say-do gaps. You know, that is a perfect breeding ground. So
Yeah.
if there's a gap between what I'm saying and what I'm doing, or what we are saying and doing as an organisation or whatever, alignment may form part of the problem. It won't get to the root.
No.
And one of the ways you might be able to spot that there is a say-do gap at play is because of a lack of alignment.
And actually, alignment isn't taken for granted in certain settings. So, for example, even with things like train tracks, I'm willing to bet that there are engineers who go out and check that everything is as it should be.
Yeah.
But with if you think of your car and the alignment of the tyres and so on, that needs to be done every now and again. It has to be checked. We can't just assume
That's right.
that it's okay. And it's the same with, you know, an alignment within ourselves or in organisations or teams or whatever. We were aligned in the same way that you and I were aligned, that we wanted to have supper. But then you went off and made a fishy, meaty stew.
Whilst being sick in the corner.
And I couldn't eat it. And then we were very much misaligned.
Because I'm just thinking about two things. So one is environment. Going back to the analogy, so with the train tracks, it gets really hot, they can go out of alignment. So thinking about the environment that I'm in, you know, if it is creating pressure in certain ways or whatever else, things can come out of alignment.
Yep.
And that is therefore when say-do gaps can really start to run riot. The other thing I was thinking about was with the wheel alignment. What gets wheels out of alignment? Well, when they get knocked, when you go in a pothole or when you mount a curb or something like that. So they get a knock. So then if I think about my internal alignment, that can go a little bit out of kilter. If I've been experiencing a number of things that have knocked me in some way, I might have found a situation hard, I might have been through a particular period of busyness or whatever it might be. So your point around this, constantly looking at this internal alignment, is true, and that's also really important when there is more than one person involved.
Yes. Yes. Because You know how you can be in the same room as somebody, hear the same words, and come away with a very, very different impression of what's happened.
That never
or
happens to us, Louise.
Pardon? A completely different understanding. We've heard people say it. God, it's like we're in a different meeting.
Yeah.
What? Well, that's because there's a misalignment, and these things happen. I think it's really, really normal. But if you're going after something as a team or an organisation or within yourself, and if you're really doing a focused kind of sprint on something, wanting something to be different, and you're intentionally doing things differently, then alignment becomes even more important, because you might be moving up. I'm using car analogies all the time, and I'm not sorry about it because they work really well in this. You might be moving up through the gears, people. You might.
Here we go. Synchromesh. Double to clutch.
Right? I had a friend, she had to double declutch into first in her car because it was right old it was. But she never managed it properly, and Dad would always cringe and go, oh, that poor gearbox. Anyway, so, if you hit a pothole at 5 miles an hour, it'll have a very different impact if you hit it at 50 miles an hour.
Exactly.
So that's where alignment checks, as you move through a project, start to pick up speed, accelerate, they become so critical, because without it you end up then pulling in different directions. Things start to go wrong. It's that heat, that friction that then pushes things even further out of alignment, and before you know it, something that we all 12 months ago we set out the vision for this project and everyone was fully aligned.
Yeah.
9 months later, we're all running around chasing our own tails. Well, I guess we haven't done many checks on our alignment in that time.
Yeah, so what do we think are good ideas or good ways of doing that, as opposed to let's have a weekly check-in, because you think about the way that is currently done. Just from the things that we see, right? So we're going to have a weekly status meeting. We're going to do a monthly board thing. We're going to apply some governance or some whatever else. And those things are intended to keep the alignment. The thing that we've been talking about more is the internal alignment.
Yes.
So
I think... I was just thinking, Paul, inside of oneself, it would be to, do a check-in, but think about the experience you're going for, why you want it, what's important to you. The impact you want it to have, the feelings you want to feel, so that is this still okay? Is this still what I want? Have I changed slightly? Do I want to slightly alter the direction I'm going? So, looking at that future state and checking whether, checking internally whether that is still something. Because if it's not, if you're not okay with it, your internal system will tell you that. And I think that then if you take it outside of self and into like a team or an organisation, I just had the thought that it might be quite interesting to periodically get people who are working on that initiative, whatever it is, to articulate why we're doing it. Not what we're doing, but why we're doing it.
Yeah, totally. Is your phone near your microphone?
No. Yes, but it's on Do Not Disturb.
It might have just been ringing because it was going diggity, diggity, diggity.
Was it? Whack. Sorry about that.
I haven't heard that sound for a long time.
It wasn't.
Huh. Well, there you have it. That was interesting. Yes, it is. So that checking in, that internal alignment, and trying to do that collectively in a way that doesn't come across as, I don't know, like sitting around a campfire and, we're all here to do a job, let's go get on with it. So keeping that sense of alignment is easier done with scorecards, and stuff like this externally, because we can measure actions, outcomes, blah, blah. And it's maybe not so easily done internally. And then if we know that this is a way of being able to spot potential say-do gaps when we see misalignment creeping in, something to check in with and to notice.
I think that the other thing is there's that cartoon, and I think it's about IT systems, or customer experience, and the customer came in and said that they wanted a chair, and then what they end up with is a tyre on a bit of rope attached to a tree, because it's been through all these iterations and misalignments, which mean, well, you can sit on it.
Yes.
So you can have the experience that you wanted.
Yeah.
You can eat the dinner.
Yeah.
It's just a long way away from
Yes.
your original intention. I think lots of projects do that. They, by in small increments, start departing from their original purpose, intention, whatever. And look, there might be good reasons for it. We might not have the budget for the upholstery for the chair. We might have to make do. But let's be clear about that, and let's adjust as we go, and realign around this new thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just don't think it's done as mindfully or as purposefully inside or outside as it could be.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that as well, that analogy of having something to sit on and ending up with a tyre and rope. And how easily that can happen. So then when you think about any project, you think about any initiative, any communication within an organisation, how quickly that can change. Yeah. So you imagine, look at the classic. Here's a classic. Sales, bloody sales. Go off and bloody sell something, for God's sake. And then it gets to delivery, and they're going, well, we don't even, I don't know how they sold that. We don't even deliver that thing. That happens. That's like
all the time.
All the time. And it's like, okay, so should we maybe pay some attention to that? Not just blame sales for selling something that doesn't exist, or delivery for not delivering something that's been sold. Maybe get a little bit curious about that.
Well, that tells you where people are aligned. Sales are aligned in that example around the sale itself, and they're incentivized. That alignment is incentivized in them.
So, and that's aligned with finance, for example, because
yes, and
they'll get paid.
Legal, because they make sure the agreement's signed and blah, blah. Great. But then when you get to the delivery and the customer experience people, they're saying they're not aligned.
No.
Because they're not incentivized in that space. They're incentivized with customer satisfaction and quality of service and other things. And so you've got that misalignment drives the gap and keeps it there. Whereas, if you were aligned around the delivery of the service to the customer, now this is what the organisation says.
Yeah,
of course. They're not going, we're all here to deliver a shit experience to our customers.
And you're welcome, by the way, just sign here.
And to charge you lots of money for it. No, of course they say that, but what they then do is incentivise the salespeople to do one thing and the customer experience people to do something else, and then the technical people to do something else again. And then we wonder why the customer has a bit of a bumpy ride.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. It's it is interesting, and obviously it won't necessarily always be as blindingly obvious as what we've just talked about there. And there's always those elements that are present of that misalignment. So
I tell you what, there's a guy I know, a good friend of mine, and he is a salesperson, but his organisation does not incentivise just the sale. They incentivise the delivery and implementation of the piece of technology to the customer, and they incentivise the salespeople with that, and the technology people with that, and the delivery people and the customer success, and everybody's incentivized with that, so that you only get paid your entire bonus as the salesperson if the full value chain is delivered. And I think that's very smart. That's an example of it being aligned.
Yeah,
It's in his interest for that to work.
Yes, and it's the idea a lot of organisations, instead of just paying on sales order or on revenue, total contract value, whatever, they're actually paying on margin.
Yes.
So if the thing that we've sold is really, really difficult to deliver and we have to pour loads of resource into it, well, then you're going to get paid less.
Yeah.
So there are a number of ways of creating that alignment, which is good. So on that note, I'm probably going to go off and align myself internally.
I'm going to go and lie down. I'm going to be aligned with the floor.
Parallel with the floor.
Parallel with my bed.
I love that. Yeah, totally. In fact, I'm going to go and make up a dinner, because tonight, ladies and gentlemen, for dinner, it's what's in my house.
Lovely.
A bowl full of what's in.
And some of the best meals come from those nights, don't they?
Don't they?
Don't they, though?
Don't they just?
I'm off to roast some vegetables.
That does sound great lush.
Get
Rhubarb
out and
pie.
pick your wild garlic, guys. What? It's there now. It's flowering now. Go.
Make it happen.
But go into the woods, away from where all the dogs do their wheeze.
Really? That's surprising. Thank you for that top tip.
Foraging 101.
Foraging 101. Talking of foraging, have you managed to use that foraging thing yet?
Not yet. I am going to do it, though.
Okay, fine.
Paul and Bernard bought me a foraging thing for my birthday last year, but I haven't done it yet.
Rude. With a very nice local small business.
Very.
Excellent. Now that that's all in alignment, let's go and align our evenings accordingly.
Roger that.
Bonjour.
Good day.
Bye now.
Bye.
Curious Brain Thoughts.